Welcome to the SALT Sideline Report. I'm Leanna Haakons, and we are standing here at SALT, New York with Karen Firestone, a powerhouse in the asset management world. She is CEO, co-founder, and CIO at Aureus Asset Management. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Leanna, for having me.
So Karen is talking on the Modern Wealth Management panel today at SALT. What were your key takeaways from the discussion today, and what insights do you have for investors that might be watching the Sideline Report today?
Well, there were a few important takeaways, I think. One is that, of course, the world has changed because we know that people can work from home. The question is, how many of us are going to? Will our clients want to see us? Are they going to be fine with a remote and virtual relationship? And I think that we felt that personal contacts within companies are very important, that the relationships, the collegiality, the impulsive discussions are key, but we have to give people more flexibility. I think that's going to be important for the future. And clients often need to touch us in some way that feel there's a connection and trust, not just that they've given their money to someone to manage and they're never going to see them. So we have to maintain a relationship with them, even though we may not see them as frequently in person as we used to.
And so how have you at Aureus managed to maintain those relationships with current and prospective clients during the pandemic, and then now sort of coming into this post-pandemic world back in real life again?
Oh, it's not been easy. So we've had 18 months now. The last 3 months, we've had some clients, in fact, have asked if they could come for a review into the office. I have a feeling they were desperate to see people, and we were the best they could come up with. And I hope that we met their expectations. But it's clearly been difficult trying to get people, onto Zoom. They're uncomfortable with Zoom. I'm not just talking about my colleagues. It's, clients too. They sort of don't look at the camera. They're looking down. We don't know if they're vacuuming because we hear a lot of noise in the background. So it's been a challenge. I think that we have achieved a lot with technology, and everyone in the world has. So it's made, I'd say, sharing screens, which everyone fumbled with at first, and now we know how to use it. And so we can send out a statement, go through it with them. They can see what's on screen. In fact, some of them have liked it a lot. So there's more, perhaps, literacy that you can give people about their financial situation because they're able to understand how to use the technology and what they're seeing. And we'll continue to do that in the future. I hope that we have all learned that we can communicate in a variety of ways, that in person is great. We can talk on the phone sometimes, that's just fine. We can see people, we can have them respond to us more quickly than they used to, and all of that is a positive. It's just, obviously different. Whoever knew that a pandemic was going to accelerate the adoption of all of these new modes of communication?
Of course. So you're going to be continuing a lot of the digital and technology adoptions that you had in the last 18 months moving forward, but giving clients and prospective clients some of that in-person connection as well that you were doing for decades in the industry previously.
Yeah, exactly. I used to travel a lot to see clients, to visit companies. I would come to New York frequently and do CNBC. So we haven't been doing that. This is my first business trip since March 12th of 2020 when I was in New York. And I think that there will be less business travel. But, I want to maintain some of that. We also have more time because we don't have to travel as much. Perhaps look at investments in more detail than we had. I mean, I have a company with many people doing different types of asset research, and they don't have to run and see the companies or whatever that an external fund, a real estate project, whatever. There's perhaps less of that we have to do. We can use the time, I think, more efficiently. But I still like to travel. I like to get out there and see people. And I think that we're going to be able to offer people, and will be offering people, a greater variety of assets that they'll invest in. We do a lot of stock portfolios. That's my background, several of my partners' background. And I love that. I love the stock market and finding new ideas. But looking at, real estate, private company, private equity, venture capital funds like, Skybridge. Right. We own Skybridge, and that's been great for our clients as well.
Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of the technology adoption, and we're talking a lot this week at SALT about alternative data and these things that are being used so much more now in the last 18 months in this pandemic world where we had to rely on local data and information through technology rather than on-site due diligence and business travel, visiting people around the country, around the world to get a deal done. And that you're going to be continuing to use that moving forward in this post-pandemic transition. I know that you mentioned that you're interested in a lot of the private equity and VC deals and different things going on in that area or those areas. What would you say is your favorite place of interest right now for clients at Aureus and what your research team is really focused on, something you're excited about?
Yeah, well, we're always looking at companies that are public because that's our kind of heart and soul and our background. But I think that there are a great many new applications that are being used in technology that young people have been developing. If they've been home for the last year and a half, or if they've been, up in the garage room and working on some project, you're going to see a lot of great ideas that have come out of the past 18 months where people have had to focus their attention and create kind of something exciting for themselves to get their mind off of the pandemic. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Carrie. You are a huge person in the industry. We're happy to have you here on the SALT Sideline Report and very happy to have you back in New York.
Thank you, Leanna. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Bye-bye.